That's the whole story of the Bible, is that God is a fisherman. All the way back to Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And jump ahead to verse 6. And God said, let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. So God made the vault in verse 9. And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let the dry ground appear. And it was so. And there's a constant separating of waters, the chaos and the death, and making room for life. And you could think of it like God reaching into water and pulling life out, which is a lot like what a fisherman does. That from the time Adam and Eve sinned, and it led to more and more and more sin, eventually we had more water, a giant flood. But in the midst of that, God put Noah on a boat and drew life out, like a fisherman. Exodus, God reached down and he moved Israel out of Egypt. Moved the waters out of the way, and Israel was able to go free. And even the man he used to do this, Moses, remember why he's named Moses. His mother puts him in a basket and sends him down the Nile, and Pharaoh's daughter finds him. She named him Moses, Exodus 2, verse 10, saying, I drew him out of the water. Fished out, because God was also fishing Israel out of Egypt. And then Moses had a protege named Joshua who would lead his people into the promised land. They would enter a dark and chaotic place with many more powerful armies than them, but God told Joshua, I'm still going to clear the way, parting the waters of the Jordan as they're crossing into the promised land. Joshua 2, verse 15. Now the Jordan is at flood stage, all during harvest. Yet as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stopped flowing. It piled up in a heap a great distance away at a town called Adam in the vicinity of Zarethan. While the water flowing down to the Sea of Arabah, that is the Dead Sea, was completely cut off. So the people crossed over opposite Jericho. And the priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stopped in the middle of the Jordan and stood on dry ground. I don't think a single word in that passage was chosen on accident. When God's people are facing a flood, waters and destruction that go all the way back to Adam, that ought to have led them right to death, to a dead sea, God makes a way for them to come into life. Will part the waters, fishes them out, and pulls them into life. Jesus also comes as a fisherman. When we're drowning in our trouble, in our sin, in our doubt, in powers way too powerful for us, Jesus is walking on the water and he's fishing us out of that chaos. There's only been one person in all of Scripture who has hovered over the surface of the waters and pulled life out of the sea.